Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. I am Sophia, one of the program director at Axiata Foundation. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you for taking the time to join us today. And I'm also especially grateful to our distinguished panelists for being part of today's session. Next slide, please. Some house rules before we start the session. Please turn off your microphone throughout the webinar, and the webinar will be recorded. Do participate in the conversation through the chat box and reaction. Keep your camera on at all times to stay engaged with us. And for the Q&A session, just please write down your name and your questions in the chat box. Our technical team will then ask the question on your behalf. Okay, next slide. Okay, allow me to briefly introduce our panelists today. We have Sry Khairudin. Sry will be our moderator today. She is one of our ULDP alumni from cohort 7, and she's currently the social media manager at Fetch TV. We also have Encik Kamal Nawawi, the Chief Executive Officer at Axiata Foundation. And our special guest today is Encik Mohamad Farid, one of the board member at Telecom and who's also a Chief People Officer at MBSB Bank. Each of them brings unique insights and experience to the topic we're exploring today. And I hope today's session will inspire all of you to apply and join ULDP so you can prep and upskill yourself for the workforce. I shall now pass it over to Sry for the sharing session. Over to you, Sry.
Thank you so much, Sophia. All right, so I'm Sry. Good evening, everyone. I truly hope everyone has had a very great week thus far. I'll be moderating our chat tonight, and a bit of background about me before I start. I am currently doing marketing and social media at Fetch TV, which is an Australian IPTV. Previously, I was also doing something similar. It's a similar role at TikTok Live. So yes, the previous posters did mention social media manager at TikTok Live. You guys didn't dream about that. I am an alumni of ULDP from cohort 7, just in 2019. It was years back, so I will try to bridge the gap that you guys might have for you guys to understand how ULDP may help you in shaping your future. Now, it is a great pleasure to have everyone here tonight, and thank you for joining. Thank you too for your interest. And as mentioned by Sophia just now, we have two very inspiring gentlemen who have graced us with their experience and also leadership insights. So together with me here, we have Encik Farid, who is the board member of Talent Corp and also the Chief People Officer at MBSB Bank. So a round of applause. And also we have Encik Kamal here with us, who is the CEO of Axiata Foundation. Yay. Okay, now to start off on a more chill tone, as I have already introduced our panelists, maybe they can share with us, well, number one word you use to describe your leadership style, and on another separate but very important matter altogether, very chill but very important matter, what did you guys have for dinner? We'll start off with Encik Farid.
Okay, you caught me by surprise. Anyway, thanks, Lee. First and foremost, thank you, Encik Kamal. Good to see you. Thanks for the invitation. I think it's truly a pleasure to be with all of you, future leaders, thinkers, and change makers. And thanks to Axiata Foundation for inviting me to this particular platform. I'm Farid Basir. I'm the Group Chief People Officer for MBSB. Now, with regards to my what I had for dinner, I always have early dinner. I try to have dinner before Maghrib. And today, somehow or other, it's very light dinner. It's just a burger. That's it. Usually, I try to skip dinner. I try to have my IF, have early dinner, and then only have my next meal maybe around 10 a.m. Yeah, that's always my routines. Anyway, talking about my leadership style, first I want to talk about leadership first. Yeah, leadership today is no longer about power. This is very important because we always think when we think about leadership, we think about power. It's more about what I call as the 3P, the purpose, people, and progress. So I would define leadership as these 3 Ps: the purpose, what is our purpose, what is our talking about people, how we can inspire, nurture, and develop people, and how we can progress. It's all about nurturing and growing others. And tonight, I think what my intention is how we can explore what it takes to thrive as a leader in today's world of work. Not someday, but starting today. It's not one day I become a leader. It's about day one. So today is a day one, because I truly believe that leadership does not begin with a title. You don't have to wait until you become a manager, then you become a leader. So it begins when you take ownership of your own growth. That is the start of leadership. And I always believe that life begins not at 40. By the way, I'm already 50 plus. I'm going to retire in 2015 days. Yes. Another times fly. I still remember when I met Sheikh Kamal a few years back, decades ago. Both of us have thick and black hair right now. And we used to we always, make fun of ourselves. At that time, we were the youngest managers, the youngest CISROs. Yeah? Come on, I remember you are one of the youngest CIO back then. And to describe my personal leadership style in one word, it would be authentic. Yeah. To me, leadership is about showing up consistently. It's about being real and leading with heart. So I would like to start with that. Thanks, Sri.
Thank you so much, Farid. I love how you mentioned to take ownership of your own growth, because leadership truly doesn't start when you have a team. It starts within you yourself.
Yes.
You have to take leadership for yourself in order for you to start.
Yes.
Yeah. Kamal, how about you?
Thank you, Sri. And first of all, let me start with saying a big thank you to Farid for accepting our invitation. It's not, I know he's got, as chief people officer of MBSB, he's a very busy person, and there's a lot that he is on his plate. So segue plate into dinner. What I had for dinner was traditional Malaysian dinner lah. I had chicken rice, which I usually don't have. But today was a bit special because I did have lunch. I had late breakfast, so I usually, if I don't, if I have late breakfast, then I have early dinner, and quite a heavy one. So I had a flat plate of chicken rice, which I like very much. As I say, it's a typical Malaysian dinner. Then, if I can then talk about a little bit, echoing what Farid said in terms of leadership, and if I were to use one word as to my leadership style, talking about the three P's: people, progress, and purpose, my one word would be inclusive. And inclusive leadership to me involves making decisions that are consultative in that sense. Consultative in the sense that you need all the information that's needed to make a decision, which also includes data. Nowadays, that's very important, as well as views from either opposing or differing from you, but also understanding that there are going to be important decisions that you need to make based on the views of others. So if again, so if I were to use one word, it would be inclusive leadership.
Thank you so much, Kamal. So we have one authentic and one inclusive leadership there. There you go. Right. Now moving forward, we have quite a young audience here, right? More than Sheikh Kamal and Sheikh Kamal. So one that may use TikTok viral memes as an everyday conversation. Now, I'm not too young myself, but I'll try to be. Let me see how I can incorporate this into my next question. There's definitely a plot twist, right, when it comes to how drastically the workplace environment has shifted over the years. It low-key did a full 180. What took days to research back then is now done within seconds with AI. Now, as a leader, I'll pass this to Farid first. As a leader, what's been the biggest shift that you've personally felt in recent years? Like, what made you go, this ain't it? Or like, okay, this is a whole new vibe altogether.
And how we can slay it, right? Now, the biggest shift, I think I joined the workforce the same time as Kamal back in the 90s, early 90s. Yeah, even if you remember, Kamal, yeah, the logo of Secom have changed from the solar until the birds, and then until the current one. No, the biggest shift that I realized is from command to connection, where the most profound shift I've experienced as a leader from these 3 decades over the years is moving from command and control leadership to connection and coaching leadership. Let me explain. There are three. I would look into the 4 shifts. Yeah, the first one is from authority to authenticity. I talk about being authentic. The second one is from telling to listening. The third one is from control to empowerment. And the fourth one, the last one is from result only to people first. These are the 4 shifts that I've seen. It's very significant shift because as we fully aware, the new generation, where I personally, I don't like to label generation by Gen X or Gen Z because it's more like a marketing jargon rather than, because I believe that all of us are individual characteristic. Yet, if any of you have watched MBSB TikTok video of me trying to be Gen Z, so I have to admit that I was forced to do it, but I enjoy it. Now let's talk about the first one. Yeah, in the past, leaders, we are expected to have all the answers because authority was tied to hierarchy. And today, I realize that being authentic is the new credibility. People, especially the young generation, we are young, so the younger talent don't follow titles; they follow trust. And this is where leaders, we must be real, we must be vulnerable, and we have to be relatable. I remember one quote. I can't remember whose quote is this, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So we need to show that we care about the person itself. That's the first one. The second one is shift from telling to listening. Now, traditional leadership involve giving instructions. Modern leadership is about listening, co-creating solutions, and empowering others. Bear in mind, when we talk about AI, this is very interesting. People say that AI is taking our job. AI is not taking our jobs. Who's taking our job? People that know AI. Because AI will take tasks. So instructions, in a way, is all about doing the task. So leaders is not about being the smartest person in the room, but also enabling others to be or to do their best. So that's the second one, from telling to listening. And the third one is the earlier leadership model were rooted in structure and compliance. But today workforce, I think they expect autonomy, they expect purpose, they expect flexibility. And I've learned that the more I trust my team, the more they grow. And leadership now is about being a multiplier. We are talent multiplier. We need to remove roadblocks and enabling others to thrive. It's all about nurturing and growing others, because the best leaders are those who create more leaders, not followers. And the last one, how are we going to shift from result only to people first? Yes, I know performance matters, KPI, scorecard, result matters, but it cannot come at the cost of well-being, culture, and dignity. So I know that all of us expect and define. I try to avoid using the word work-life balance. For me, because there's no such thing as balance. What balance to you is not the same as me. So I would prefer to use the word life, work, fit. For me, it's life first, not work first. Life, work, fit. How it fit depends on your interpretation. But as long as we don't impose our definition to the rest. For example, in my case, I arrive in the office every day before 7. I left usually around after Maghrib. Yeah, many reasons. I will be very early because I want to avoid the traffic. Then I can go to gym or can take the staircase, exercise, and then have a chat. And then I go home late, not because I want to go home late. My two daughters grown up already, so it is an emptiness, and I want to avoid the traffic. But the last thing that you want to do is you want to impose the same thing to your staff. So these are the 4 shifts that I've seen. Yeah. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Farid. You highlighted something that that really piqued my brain. You mentioned best leaders grow more leaders, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I would like to emphasize on how true this is. And I feel like, Kamal, if you have any comments on how AYTP as a platform, how at the core of AYTP, this is truly what it's all about, and how ULDP can help the younger generations to, truly understand themselves, to help become a better versions of themselves, to be the next great leaders in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Sri, and thank you for it. Very enlightening indeed, in terms of your observation of the shift that we have seen. I think if I can make a comment, I know, Farid, you say you don't like to use the labels for generation, but I think it's useful if you think about the fact that many in the audience today who are listening to us, they'll be probably in the workforce in the next 3 to 5 years. And what's going to be interesting in the workforce in the next 3 to 5 years will be there will probably be 5 generations if we follow the labeling, right? There'll be 5 generations in the workforce all over the world. There will still be a smattering of baby boomers like me will mainly be in the roles of maybe not so much active in the management roles. Probably they'll be on the boards or advisory and all that. But the latest generation, whether you're called alpha, whatever it is now, we'll still have to deal with them maybe indirectly, but we'll still need to take into consideration that there will be that generation still in the workforce and still play a significant role, if I may say that, in the running of businesses and things like that. Even if you're doing your own business, your own startups and all that, there will still be consumers who are of the baby boomer generation. The next generation, in terms of being Gen X, for example, will still mostly be in senior management roles or boards as well. So you will need to also deal with these people. Then there's the X, Y, and Z, and all the different alphabets in terms of being in the workforce. So very interesting, the fact that there will then be, for people who are going to be in the workforce in the next 3 to 5 years, this challenge of dealing with various generations, right? Who have had different experiences that they carry with them as they progress in their work. So most important is, I think you said this now, Farid, is the fact that there is then this leadership, I call it leadership of influence without authority, which I think is most important for us to prepare for, because no more will you be influenced by ranks and things like that. Don't get me wrong, there will still be people who insist on ranks. There will still be people who insist on being saluted and things like that because of their ranks. But more and more, you will see that in the workforce, wherever you are employed, what will be more important would be being able to influence and being able to state your case without banging the table and all that. So that is something that we are part of the AYTP, and I hope I can have time later on to introduce our programs and all that. But we have strived very hard to actually include all those aspects into the programs that we have. Sri, you mentioned that you are ULDP cohort 7. What we are trying to recruit for this year would be ULDP cohort 15. So we've come a long way. Sorry, Sri, I didn't mean to make you feel old. You are not old at all compared to me. If I were in ULDP, I'll probably be 00, whatever. Right? So lucky, there was Unfortunately or fortunately, there was no ULDP back then. But that's what we're trying to incorporate in our programs. We try to stay relevant, look at the shifts, as Farid mentioned just now, in the style of leadership and what you need to incorporate into your style of leadership as you make yourself into the workforce. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, Kamal. Wow, 7 to 15. I did not realize how fast the years have gone by. Okay, so actually, I read an article on your rapid fire questions with People Matter Global, and that it's something that you mentioned just now about, well, I thought it was work-life integration, but you mentioned it's life first, which is true. Slay. Life work integration. And I personally find that it is also a big shift, right, from work-life balance to integration, especially with the great pandemic hit back in 2020. I think this was the first shift of it all that really challenged the workforce to, work from home. And you really have to integrate your life and not lose yourself along the way. It's going to be hard to achieve right now, especially from either top-down approach or even from bottom-up approach, right? So my question is, in your view, as a leader, if leadership was once about structure and now it's more towards fluidity, how does that change? How does that change how we define success as a leader in today's workplace?
So, how we define success? Yeah. Now, this is, well, if we look at leadership, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it's all about purpose, it's all about progress, it's all about people. And if you want to put a measure of success, for me is would be how be able to progress somebody to the next level. Level means I'm not talking about grades or promotion. I'm talking about, I mentioned earlier that life begins, yeah, at the end of comfort zone. And people always make reference, I work in organization where people are very proud that I've been in an organization for example for 10 years, 20 years. Yeah. For example, in my previous role, I was in a telco. It's quite common for people come to me and say that, Farid, I've been in this company for 20 years. So I respect that. Yet I always believe, I like to I like to answer with another question. Is it 20 years or 1 year times 20? It's two different things, eh? So 1 year times 20 means you do the same thing, but you repeat 20 times. So the role of a leader, the measure of success is how we can push and unlock the full potential of the individuals. So that's for me the definition of success of a leader.
Now, following up from that, right? I like that you say that what's next. Like, it's always about what's the next challenge, what's the next growth, how can we nurture ourselves. So for the young talent here, they must want to know. I just know that they must want to know, and I also want to know because I'm quite young myself.
Yes,
so
you
what
are
are
young.
the top 3 qualities or top 3 skills that you notice nowadays in outstanding young talent? And perhaps, we as the young ones in the call right now might want to tap into, might want to, grow and nurture ourselves in this outstanding qualities that you notice in young talents.
This is very interesting because why today, somehow or other, I just joined my team to interview young graduates. We have a program called Graduate Employability Program. And exactly people like you. And I noticed that three things. Self-initiative. Yeah. You don't wait to be told. I give example. One of the candidates have not done research about MBSB. So she did not know about what is MBSB. If I can share my experience for any interview, even at my level, what I will do is I always look at their annual reports. I do my own ratios. The good thing is now you have ChatGPT. You just download the annual report and churn the ratios. I come prepared. Because why? I want to see whether you take the initiative. If you don't take the initiative to know about the organization that you're applying for, do you think that you will take initiative when you are at work? That's one. Second, adaptability. We need to be able to pivot quickly. So we must be adaptive. And the last one, this is very critical, more relevant in the current VUCA world, is all about learning agility. It's about how fast you can learn, not just what you know. Because whatever that we learn now is going to be not relevant in the next 3 years. So we need to quickly to learn new things. Yeah. So these are the three things: initiative, adaptability, and learning agility. Thanks, Sri.
Thank you so much, Encik Farid. Actually, I would like to tie this back to Kamal because okay, there are three things here: self-initiative,
Yes.
adaptability to pivot quickly, and also learning agility. What we learn now may not be the same as what we will learn in the next 3 years. We don't know what we don't know, right? And as a person who have been through, by the way, just so you guys know, I've been through ULDP. I have been through Axiata graduate program, so that's the management training program. I've also completed my young CEO development program, which is for the young working adults. So as a person who have been through all three of the programs under Axiata Foundation, I cannot stress enough about how all of these three components, you can truly experience it at the core of ULDP since I was, last year of my degree at that time. So Kamal, how do you think ULDP now, because I know for a fact that it has changed. I know, I've seen the framework. I know that some of the challenges have changed, and it's great that it has changed because now we require different kind of talent framework. How do you think it can truly help our young degree students now to help them prepare themselves for the workforce?
Thank you, Sri, and thank you for it for sharing the three qualities which I truly share. I just want to add one more, which I think encompasses what the three qualities that you spoke about, which is whenever I look for people to hire, the first thing I look for is the word that I use is a self-starter, because in today's world, with the expectation of speed to learn and in speed to work, I mean the old cliche, idiom of hitting the ground running and all that. It's more important today than it has been over the last few years, I think. You are expected to self-start. You're not expected to. I mean, today's onboarding happens before you come to the workforce. You go on the e-learning platform and you're onboarded, right? And you are expected on day one when you report to work, or if you're working from home, to actually pick it up and go. And to relate that to our own experience of running programs in Axiata Foundation. And thank you, Sri, for also introducing the fact that we run programs of the Axiata Young Talent Program, or AYTP, at three levels. So there's the School Leadership Development Program, SLDP, that focuses on school children whose beneficiaries are mainly people who we help at the scholarship level, as well as Bantuan Balik Sekolah or back to school programs. Those are our beneficiaries for that. We also then the next level is the ULDP, which we are doing, or rather waiting for right now. It's the Leadership Development Program. How we have also pivoted a lot of, as you said, Sri, the content of that has also shifted. Farid, you spoke about VUCA, but I'm sure you also know VUCA is also passé now, because people are talking about Bani now, right? So how quickly those things change. We've been able, thankfully, to also review all the content of ULDP and focused on, and I'll talk about this hopefully, in the next 10 minutes or so, if I have the time. One of the biggest changes that we've had to make into ULDP is to actually introduce 3 new modules in terms of digital, that's digital marketing and AI and all that, into the curriculum as well. because that's what we need to prepare this workforce for in the future. Like I said, 3 to 5 years, aside from the leadership qualities that you need to have to adapt to the 5 generations that are going to be in the workforce, you're also going to be able to, without a question, be technically sound in terms of all the digital tools that are being used in the business world today. The same thing we have adapted also. We introduced, in fact, a year ago in 2024, a new program to the lineup of the AYTP, which is the ADLP, the Axiata Digital Leaders Program, aside from the program that you attended, which is the Young CEO Development Program. The ADLP focuses more on, if I may use the word, IT savvy people who go into the workforce, but also need to be able to not just deep dive into the technical aspects of IT and digital, but also understand the business side of things. So it's the flip side of YCDP. YCDP takes a bit longer, as you know, 18 months. It used to be 24, as you know. So there's also an adaptation rather that we've had to make to the program. So in short, what we've been able to do with our programs is, and it keeps us on our toes as well, to ensure that the programs that we churn out and that we try and benefit our students in ULDP, as well as the young career professionals in both ADLP and YCDP, remain relevant to today's business world.
Thank you so much, Kamal. Now, to tie back what Kamal has said just now to what Mr. Farid has said just now, you said just now life begins at the end of comfort zone. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I think my life truly began when I started ULDP, because ULDP was nowhere near comfortable. It was truly challenging. Barely had any sleep. It was progress after progress, learnings after learnings. It was just full on packed with challenges. But at the end of the day, it truly taught me on what's next, what's going to be the next challenge. And that's probably the reason why I kept on going afterwards. ULDP, YCDP, so on and so forth. So yes, now on a slightly different note. Now I remember growing up during my uni days, right, and being, active, so on and so forth. I live by the phrases, jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. We all keep on talking about this, right? Now that I'm in the working industry, and I realize these terms might just help me in shaping my career. It might help our young audience right now shape their career one day too. So my question here is, how are concepts like T-shaped and V-shaped careers redefine what it means to be a leader in the workforce now? What are some, outdated leadership ideas that young people should leave behind?
The outdated leadership ideas, I think I can share two. One is you can only lead when you are promoted or have many years of experience. That's one. Because the reality now is leadership is not about position, it's about influence and contributions. And you can lead from any seat by solving problems, by stepping up or uplifting others. Because as I mentioned, you don't need a title to be a leader. That's one. The second one is the career ladder is linear and upward. So for me, there's an outdated thinking with regards to leadership. And the point was at the time, just keep climbing the corporate ladder. Yeah, it's because it is linear and upward. The reality is the careers today are more like jungle gyms or ecosystem. It's not ladders, because lateral move, upward cross-functional project, and even career breaks can also enrich your leadership capability. I can share with you, I had a career break after telecom for 3 months. That was during COVID. So I rode my bike, motorbike, by the way, around Peninsula until there's another PKP, so I have to stop. But it's also a good time for you to have that introspection. And this is where career ladder is not linear and upward. That's a very outdated thinking. And you talk about the T-shape. This is very interesting, and I want to touch on this. When we talk about T-shape, it's about the depth and the breadth. This is when I talk to my fellow Sry Khairudin, the new generation of HR professionals, I'm quite concerned with regards to their technical know-how. I give example. When I was at that age, maybe at the 20s, I even memorized the Hey Guide chart to evaluate jobs. I look at job descriptions, yeah, and then I read, and then I say 551. 551 refers to the points, yeah. For example, I also know how to do. If you remember, when you learn mathematics, you learn how to draw a linear progression line, yeah. So you use that in compensation and benefits. So the point that I want to make is we must have the depth. I believe in this T shape because why? We must have the depth. The good thing about nowadays, you can learn that quickly through Gen AI. Yeah? I give example that what I've done, I put the Hey factor points in my Gen AI, and then I just upload the job description, and I can get the score. But at least we must understand the process. So we don't underestimate the importance of T-shape. Even at my age, people say what else that I need to do. Let me share with you, in MBSB, all of us, even though I'm a CHRO, I'm responsible to a vertical, to an industry. I'm responsible for aerospace. So I have to sell product, which is bank product, to aerospace and solutions to aerospace industry. So this is where I work closely with the Malaysia Aerospace Industry Association to understand their business needs and how MBSP can help them to grow. So it's still about growing. Yeah, the concept of growing people. Now I just pivot it towards growing the business, because all of us want to grow, be it individuals or organization. So these are the thing about the outdated leadership ideas. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Farid. I think what I realized what you mentioned just now about T-shape is depth and also width. And from my experience at ULDP, when we go to ULDP, right, the students that goes there, we come from different backgrounds of degrees. Some come from engineering. There was even one doing medicine. I was doing psychology, and now I'm in marketing. It's something totally different. It will truly open your eyes. So, Kamal, maybe you would like to share with us how how ULDP will have certain kind of programs that we offer, challenges, business challenges that brings about people from different width, different depth as well, and truly sharing knowledge at the core of the challenges, and sit down together and really learning together throughout it all.
Okay, thank you, Sri. So maybe I know we've got about 5 minutes left of the meeting, and if you can bear with me and give me a few more minutes to actually share. I've got a few slides that I want to share. This is a campaign to recruit anyway, so if the team can share the slides that I prepared, and Farid, with due respect, if you can also bear with me on this. Just a bit of introduction. This is, word from sponsors like you will Penaja Rancangan, right, which is the Yayasan Axiata Foundation. If you allow me, this is a group of our volunteers. This is, I think, in 2021 or 20. This is 2023, I think. This is a group of us volunteering in Pulau Mabul, and this is what we do. The Yayasan is the philanthropic arm of the Axiata Group Berhad. Next slide, please. And we work on 3 pillars, as you said, or we build on 3 pillars. There is the education pillar, which is part of, or rather, the ULDP is part of the education pillar. We added 2 more pillars a few years back, which is the community investments pillar, working mainly with the underserved community, B40 and all that. And then the environment, which we focus on actually environmental education, working with youth so that they are able to understand their role and play an active role in the environmental issues that they, my generation, have done very badly on, and for them to actually do things that are better for the environment. Next slide. So that's us here at Axiata. This just shows what we do, as I said just now. And The education pillar has got 3 levels of programs: the AYTP, which includes the SLDP, the school leadership, ULDP, the university leadership, and then also the YCDP, which is the Young CEO Development Program. Next slide, please. If I can just focus on the ULDP, I think this is what you were referring to just now, Sri, in terms of the changes that we've made in terms of our framework. This really is what is at the core of what we do in ULDP. So the top of the house, as we call it, the house chart, the top of the house is focused on leadership competencies. And as you can see there, our leadership competencies consist of 6 main drivers, which is strategic accountability. And this is what you'll be learning if you sign up for the program. People first, I think rings very well, I think, Farid, with what you said just now. Coalition building, customer orientation, very important. So you spoke about where, you took psychology, but you're now in marketing. And that, in whatever you do, if you are in business, if you are in corporate, whatever it is, customer orientation is important. Agile leadership, again, rings very well, I think, with Farid, with what you said just now. And results driven, because you can have all the strategic accountability and things like that, but at the end of the day, a leader is measured by the results that he gets, right, or she gets, right. The core competencies, we call it the 4 C's, and this is important. Communication, that remains, it's a tired and old competency, but it is one of the most important ones that you must have preparing yourself for the future, your career. Communication, creativity, collaboration, very important today, whether it is physical collaboration or online, which is a new skill a lot of people today need to learn, right? Online collaboration, working across borders, working across the globe and all that, and critical thinking, which then goes into what I said just now about being a self-starter. And those are at the bottom are the 3 new modules that we added, which is digital finance. So I don't think you would have learned this, what we're going to be covering in ULDP, you would not have learned in the university, digital finance, digital marketing, and generative AI. Next slide, please. Yeah, just a glimpse of, I think this is what you were referring to, Sri. This is 15 days, yeah, for those who are interested in signing up for the program. This is going to be 15 days of intense, program, of an intense program that, as Sri said, and I think you remember those days, Sri, hardly sleeping. You will have everyday classes, and then you will have reflection sessions, as you said there. The highlight of this, so there'll be the 4 C's and the EQ masterclass. There will be business workshops. Every time there is going to be a business challenge that's given to you, you'll be broken up into groups, and you'd have to come up with solutions every day. There are digital workshops, same thing, same format, which is simulations and things like that. There are also exact simulations that you need to go through. The finale of this program on the 14th and 15th day is actually the CEO challenge. So we will bring to you a CEO of a company, one of our partners, who will be speaking to you directly and telling you what the challenge of his or her company is. And your job is to actually propose to him or her and the panel what your solution is to that challenge. So that, I don't think you will get that in your university days, even if you are in business or in marketing. And I said, every night there will be a reflection session. You will also have coaches that are there with you to help you through the 15 days that you are with us. And to break the monotony of classrooms and things like that, there will also be an outdoor team building program session that I'm sure a lot of you will enjoy as well. I think next slide is the last one. This talks to you about who can apply. So this is open to Malaysian undergraduates studying both in our local universities, private or public, as well as those of Malaysians who are studying overseas between the ages of 19 to 25. Again, as we said, it's open to all fields of study. Doesn't matter, as you said just now, Sri, you had one of them being medicine. We had, I think that the next slide talks about that as well. Next slide, please. This is, so this is the application stages. To make this short, go to our website and the application forms are going to be there. Next step, sorry, next slide. So yeah. So this is, as I said, 2024 was cohort 14. 2025 we are recruiting for cohort 15. So we have had almost 500 students impacted through the program from cohort 1 to cohort 14. Next. The number may not be a lot, mainly because we try to keep the cohort small to between 70 to 75 every year. We get applications to this program around 1,500, 2,000 students every year apply. But as you can see from the application process, we do a very thorough job of making sure that those who do get into the program are committed to the program. You know, I mean, spending 15 days of the semester break to a lot of students is a long time. Some of you, and I don't blame you, some of you would rather go and work in the mall and things like that, which, you know, I'm fine with. But, you know, you have to be committed to the program to do this 15 days. Cohort 14, just to give you an idea, and I think this goes to what Sri was talking about, demographics for reference, household income, we had about 48% from B40, which is the aim of the program as well, which is one part of the interventions that we do. 51% always get more females than males, which is a true fact. Even in universities, you have, you know, the ratio of males to females is quite alarming actually. The universities today raised this for reference, and cost of study I think is quite interesting. Got finance, economics, actual science, business, and we have quite a good number of Malaysian students studying overseas who came to the program last year, about 12%. 58% are from local public universities and about 53% from private universities. Next, which is I think the last slide, is thank you very much. Yeah. So if you know, I hope this session tonight has been eye-opening. Again, I cannot thank enough Farid for agreeing to be with us, spending almost an hour with us tonight, sacrificing. I know, you know, his Maghrib time and early dinner and all that. But I hope more than anything else, it has been beneficial for those who have joined us and stayed with us in the last 15 minutes or so. And then thank you, Sri, for also moderating this tonight. I know you're also very busy, you know, with your work. But this is the other thing that I want to stress as well. We have had many repeat customers, if I can use that word, like Sri, who started off with the ULDP, some from the SLDP, and then a repeat customer in ULDP, and even more repeat customers in YCDP. So this, I think, is testimony to the fact that the program really is relevant to a lot of people in the sense that they keep coming back. Yeah, thank you very much again.
Thank you so much, Encik Kamal. Okay, so now, I think we have reached the Q&A session. I would like to check and see if there's anyone who have any questions from our participants. You can type your name along with your question in the chat box. We look forward to your questions. If you have any questions for Encik Farid or Encik Kamal, more about the ULDP, Encik Farid, more towards leadership styles and so on and so forth, feel free to put your questions in the chat box. Calling once, calling twice. Okay, nice. We have one. If you were to go back to time when you were to register this ULDP, what are the things you would have prepared better and why? Sarah, just checking if you're asking me. Yes. Oh, okay. I'll take this question. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I think I wouldn't have changed anything, by the way. But if there's one thing that both Encik Farid and Encik Kamal mentioned just now was self-initiative. That's what I did. That's what I did a lot. I studied about the company a lot. I went to their website. Back then, I did not know what IAR means. I did not know that it was an integrated annual report. Again, I came from psychology. I did not know anything. I did not have any business acumen skill. I did not even know what acumen means. I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of it was self-starter, as per what the Encik Kamal mentioned just now. And at that time, there was no ChatGPT, darling. There was no ChatGPT. There was Google Scholars, though. So that helped a lot. I think that is the one thing that I would give a tip to for our university students who would like to try. How do I know if I'm prepared for this program? Thank you just now for the question, but I think this one, I'll pass this question to actually both, maybe Encik Kamal wants to take it, maybe Encik Farid wants to take it.
Encik Kamal. But before, I don't want to answer, but I must say, ULDP, AYTP, this is Malaysia benchmark. I must say that. Yeah. When, for example, when I curate our own program, we always look up into Axiata, such program. Appreciate it. Yeah.
You and I both, I appreciate it too. I wouldn't have been here if it's not for the program.
Thank you so much, both Farid and Sri. If I can, take a stab at the question, how do I know if I'm prepared for this program? Okay, let me be honest. I don't think you can prepare for the program. What you can do is prepare yourself to learn. I always say that everything starts with an open mind. And the best you can do is be open-minded about what it is that you're going to venture into. So if you have the interest, that's the first thing. That's preparing yourself, right? Having the interest and taking the next steps, taking the initiative to actually execute, right? And that's again goes to what I said. It's not about being a self-starter. So even for this program, you need to be a self-starter, basically, right? So you need to take the next step. You can't prepare for the program because you will be learning in the program. And the preparation that you need to do for the program is to actually be open-minded and prepare to learn and have the initiative to learn. I don't even answer the question, but I think the question on how to prepare for the interviews and things like that, Sri already answered. So take a stab at it. Let's go. Right?
Yep, definitely. I think just to add on, if you do get into the program, on a more lighter note, the one way that you can prepare once you do get into the program is to make sure you get proper sleep. Yes. Sorry, just to confirm, does the program run continuously, meaning need to attend every day?
Yeah, it's 15 days. This year and last year, so and because we learned from the pandemic, obviously. So it's going to be 15 days, but it's going to be hybrid in a sense. So the first 3 days, if I'm not mistaken, Sophia, correct me if I'm wrong. There will be a part of that program which a lot of the foundation in terms of the learnings, your POSIs and some of the digital stuff will be an online training program, right? So you will then be given access to an online platform. So all the theory and the foundational knowledge in those areas will be done online. And then you will come to a physical session where, it's if I'm mistaken, it's 10 days, right?
Yes.
Sophia?
10
days.
10 days.
Go ahead.
Sorry, if I may add, Encik Kamal, yes, the whole program total 14 days, where you have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, virtual, and day 5 you will travel to the hotel, and you will do the remaining days, which is 9 days, 8 nights, at a physical boot camp. And yes, you need to attend every day. We will actually be taking attendance every day, and that will be part of your scoring, because at the end of the boot camp, we will have like winners, the top performing individual and also the top performing group. So yes, daily attendance is part of the scoring, overall scoring. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, if I may add, just again to attract people, top performers, what we give, aside from the normal gifts and things like that, gift certificates and all that, we'll also have the opportunity to actually go on an internship program with one of our Axiata Group Berhad companies. Yeah, so that's up for grabs as well.
Yeah, that was me, by the way.
Live example. Yes, exactly.
So I think we can take one or two more questions. This question is actually more towards leadership. How do you lead when you don't have power? technically you don't have the power to fire, give them reward. So how do you let them follow you? How do you influence them?
All right, this is up your alley.
So if leadership is only about rewarding and firing, you are not a leader. You are an administrator. Yeah. So, and this is leadership with the authority is the real leadership, because you are moving people, you are growing people to trust, credibility, and impact. Where we need to lead through influence, not positions. Yeah. Even in real sense, any manager cannot just fire and reward people. They have to go through HR. That's why I'm in HR. Joke aside. Yeah.
Yes, I hope that answers your question, Shami. Again, to remind you leadership, being a leader is truly about nurturing and growing oneself and also others. Yes. Then I think I'll take this one last question before we wrap up. Nisa Batrisha has one question. What's one of the hardest challenge going through your career growth? I'm asking this question because I'm also curious. I think we can pass this to both Encik Farid and also Encik Kamal.
Come on first.
Yeah, if I can go first, respecting elders, right? But I think one of the biggest challenges of my career, at least, has been I am a baby boomer, and I've been in the workforce seeing Gen Z entering the workforce, and the adjustments that we've had to make to, I wouldn't use the word accommodate, but to ensure that there is growth in all the different generations that are in the workforce. I think that's been my hardest challenge, because, I spoke about the style of leadership being inclusive just now for me. It is a big challenge to be inclusive of all different generations that have different expectations and different mindsets as far as progress, as you said just now, yeah, right? Progress and purpose is concerned. But that is the challenge. You to succeed, you've got to be able to be agile in a sense, and pivot and adapt. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So now maybe I can. The hardest challenge, this is based on my personal experience, is managing the internal battle that most of us will not talk about. Yeah, because we always, maybe I can share two things. One, we always compare with others, especially in the age of LinkedIn and social media. It's easy to feel behind. And the hardest growth is not external, it's mental resilience. We need to learn that we run our own race, because you are not late. Yeah, you are on your own timeline, especially for those neurodivergent like me. I can only, yes, I'm a neurodivergent, I'm a PWD, I have a pink card, I'm an OKU, by the way. So I can only speak properly when I was 10 years old. Yeah. So the point that I want to make is, please never compare with others. It is your own race. That's one. The second one, career, as I mentioned earlier, is not ladders anymore. It's more like a GPS. You need to, your ways, right? You need to reroute, you need to recalculate, but you keep going. Yeah. So we need to learn to grow without a clear map. So these are the two things that I would like to share with regards to the hardest challenge. And just to summarize this, it's all about your internal challenge.
I like how Encik Farid brought it back to the first thing that he said when we started this call, to take ownership of your own growth. And he really highlighted that again. So I actually really want to take one last question. I swear it's just one last question.
Yeah, no problem. I'm okay.
The question is from Christina. What habits or routine have you seen in participants who made the most out of this program? Now, I feel like this question can be parked to both Encik Farid and also Encik Kamal. Why? Because I believe you have seen, Mr. Farid, some of our ULDP participants who have perhaps went into AGP, who have been in Telkom before. I'm not sure, but what kind of habits or routine or even characters that you have seen in participants who have made the most out of ULDP's program? Encik Kamal, if you want to take it first.
Yeah, sure. What I've observed, both habits and routine of our participants when they are in the 14 days, whatever, of the program, and which I think is also important outside any program, is curiosity and being inquisitive. Always ask, always want to know, uh, without being annoying, obviously. But one thing to know, curiosity, as they say, killed the cat. But we're not cats, so be curious, ask a lot of questions, and your learning is not just formal, right? You're not sitting down in the classroom and learning just from the lecturer or from the person who's giving the lesson, but from people around you. The best lesson to me is from your peers, from people who are absorbing the same thing that you are hearing in the lecture room, but it's understanding it quite differently from how you are understanding it. So enriching yourself in terms of other people's understanding is a good habit and good routine to have wherever you are as far as learning is concerned. That's what I have, and these people, have more often than not proven to be successful in terms of widening their knowledge and being agile learner.
Encik Farid, would you like to add on to that?
Yeah, curiosity. I like that because become an agile learner, we need to be curious, proactive, and adaptable, as I mentioned earlier. At the same time, we must know that not necessarily you are the smartest in the room. Not necessary. And usually during such programs, even the organizers or the evaluators, they pick up on habits. Thanks that you raised about these habits, because even during interview, the only way for us to predict future performance is to look at your past performance. Our life, where we are now, is because of the habits that we have. And one thing that I learned about habits, you cannot just stop a habit. You need to replace it with something else. So be mindful about your habits, and it's good to know that curiosity is something that important for agile learners. Thanks, Sri.
Thank you so much, both Encik Farid and also Encik Kamal. Actually, Encik Kamal, if you must know, while I took that question, while I was writing that question as you were talking, I was jotting down the one quote that I remembered. One of the I forgot who it was, but it was one of the speakers that came to LDP. Mentioned, you don't know what you don't know. That was one of the first few things they mentioned to us when we first started ULDP. So it was to remind us to always be curious throughout.
Yeah.
So truly, I think ULDP will really heighten up your curiosity and always be free to ask. It's the safest place for you to make mistake. Trust me, I truly have made mistakes, a lot of them at ULDP, and it was the safest place for me to learn and make mistakes. Because where else there but not, it's okay to make mistakes there. So that's that. I think to be mindful of the time. Also, I think we'll close.
Maybe can I just add one quote similar to that?
Sure, of course.
If you don't
I keep on writing.
If you don't ask, the answer always no.
If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. That's correct. Yeah, you will never know anything if you don't ask, right? Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, right. So I'll close the Q&A now. And before I close, I would like to remind back everyone about the one question I asked when we first started, which was I asked both Encik Farid and also Encik Kamal the one word to describe your leadership style. To conclude, both perspective on leadership was Encik Farid said authenticity and Encik Kamal said inclusivity. which I find that both are not mutually exclusive but deeply interconnected with each other, right? Staying authentic and credible builds trust, while inclusivity ensures that trust truly extends to diverse voices, perspective. We must make informed decisions. So truly, together they form the foundation of effective leadership, leading with integrity while also making informed, inclusive decisions. But first and foremost, leadership starts from leading our own growth. Remember that. So thank you again to both Encik Farid and also Encik Kamal. We have reached the end of today's discussion. I trust that the participants have learned a lot from your experience and sharing. I truly have, and I'm ready to go back to work tomorrow, more motivated than ever, by the way. So now to all participants, before we wrap up, I think, Sophia, you'd like to go to the next slide. We have a few things. We would appreciate it if you can take a minute to fill out our feedback survey form. Scan the QR code. Your thoughts and suggestions will mean a lot for the team to improve on future sessions. Also, do not worry if you missed out on anything. The recording of today's webinar will be shared with you via email. Yaya will share it with you shortly. And if you have any questions or would like to know more about ULDP or leadership or anything at all, feel free to reach out to our contact persons, which is Sophia or Yaya. You can even take your own initiative. You can perhaps connect with Encik Farid on LinkedIn or Encik Kamal on LinkedIn. And lastly, to make sure to follow our Axiata Young Talent Program on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay updated with the latest tips, news, and behind-the-scenes contents. Trust me, they have posted my embarrassing meme-worthy moments before, many of them from the program. So before we truly end this call, I would like to invite everyone to open your cameras. Let's have a quick photo session so that we can all share them on LinkedIn about what we did on Wednesday night. Okay, so yeah, I kind of need help to like move the cameras around because right now everyone's like everywhere. Okay, so I can still have the participants to open your cameras. Don't be shy, don't worry. We want to see your faces so that we can perhaps see you again during camp. I might be there.
I think they're shy. No one is switching on their camera. Guys, it's just for a group photo. You probably see on our IG, AYTP IG.
Yeah.
Yay, we have one.
Yay.
And two.
Yay.
Yes. Let's make it three, guys. Let's go. There's three. Okay. I will do the screenshotting, okay? Maybe
Okay,
Sri
thanks,
can help.
Yaya.
Maybe Sri can help to count.
Definitely. Are they on your screen? That's cool. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do another one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I can post it on my LinkedIn.
Thank you,
right.
everybody. Thank you,
so
Sri.
much.
Thank you, Encik Farid. Thank you, Encik Kamal, and
Okay.
everyone
Good
else.
night.
Have a
Thank you
good
so much.
night. Have a good
Have a
evening.
good rest.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.